Hello and welcome, this is Eagle Eye 621, and today we're back in my armor, weapons, and tools testing world to talk about fireworks rockets, but not the kind that damage people, the kind that you celebrate with. If you're watching this on the day that it comes out, tonight is New Year's, bringing an end to 2020, which for a lot of people is going to mean good riddance to bad rubbish. Speaking of which, stay tuned towards the end for maybe a little bit of inspirational, but let's get into seeing how to make this and celebrate. Being that it is 2020, I'd prefer that if you don't know what you're doing, you don't play around with real fireworks, as I don't want you to blow off any fingers as a cap to this very special year. Better to do these things in Minecraft. And let's start out with actually a little bit of a recap so you know all of the different things that you're going to need. And there are literally trillions of different combinations of celebratory fireworks that you can make. Now, to start with, you're going to need some paper and some gunpowder. The amount of gunpowder you put in your rocket will determine how far it goes before it explodes. You're also going to need one little extra piece of gunpowder to make the charges. And then you have a couple of different things you can play with. The first one is the color. You can pick any color that you would like. Then you have various shapes that you can use, including just the blank or the default. Keep in mind, for these, you'll need a fire charge, a gold nugget, a feather, or a mob head. The creeper head is what it will look like, but any mob head will have the same effect. Then you can have a effect on this shape right here, and that is with either glowstone dust or diamonds or both. And then you can actually have a fade color, and it can be any of the colors. I just didn't have the space to put all of them again. And this is the part that a lot of people forget about, and a way to shoot them if you want, a way to automate them, or you can put them on the ground. Let's get started with the simplest and easiest thing, and that would be the color. So in order to make a color, you're going to need to make one of these firework stars. So you're going to need a bit of gunpowder, specifically one of them, and then a color or color combination of your choosing. In this case, I will grab an orange one, and you just come to the crafting table, and you put the gunpowder and the dye. It is a shapeless recipe. All of these are. That means you can put the ingredients anywhere you want, doesn't matter. And that gives you the firework star, and you can see that it will tell you specifically what it is, and this one is a small ball and orange. And then to make that into a firework rocket, you do need to grab that piece of paper and some gunpowder and put that back in the recipe. And you put one piece of paper, up to 3 gunpowder if you want, and your firework star. And that will give you 3 of your combination. And then you can light these off. And as I said, you can use multiple colors for this one. So if we grab some red and some purple, then when we come to make our star, we can put a orange, a purple, and a red, and you can see that we have a small ball which is both red, orange, and purple. And then we can turn that into a firework by putting that into there, and we have our combination. And you can make as many combinations as will fit into the table. And to keep with our little bit of a theme here, you can see that we have some red and some red, white, and blue, just as some defaults, so you can see how things change a little more consistently. And there you go. Now, if we want to add some shapes to our color, we come here for our specific shapes. Now, each of these different things will have a different effect. The default is the none, which you saw before. Then the fire charge will cause a large explosion. And let's grab a red one, and we can see how this looks. Both in our red, it's just a large, and in our red, white, and blue, you can see it's just much bigger. Our gold nugget will cause a star-shaped explosion. And let's grab some of those. You can see that it looks like a star. There you go. and that is three-dimensional. Let's see what else we have in this magical chest. Our feather will make a burst explosion. Let's see what that looks like. Again, first in our one color. And it's just a little bit less of a uniformed pattern is what you're looking for. And then we also have our creeper head. And our creeper head is going to make a creeper face. Now this is a one-dimensional pattern. Let's see if we get lucky. And there you go. If you hit it on the side, you're not going to see anything. So you do have a little bit of variance here. And then our multicolor version, you can see what we have just like that. And in order to make these, you're just going to want to add your shape to your recipe. So let's grab some red, let's grab some gunpowder, let's also grab this paper, and let's make the creeper head, although I'll use the wither skull to show you that it doesn't really make a difference. And if we put our dye, as well as our skull and our bit of gunpowder, then we can make a firework star, which is a creeper-shaped red. And now if we put that with our piece of paper and our gunpowder, we make 3 of these flight duration 1s. If we add more gunpowder, then it becomes flight duration 2 or 3. As I said, it just goes farther. And you always get 3. And you can see what we have here now is exactly what we just made. And it didn't matter that it was a different skull. All of the mob heads do the same thing. And now we can add some additional effects to that. And your glowstone dust will give you a sort of twinkling and crackling effect. So this is just our normal red and our normal red, white, and blue with the twinkle. You can see what that looks like. And you might be able to hear that as well. Twinkles, and it makes that crackling sound. I don't know how well that will come through. And for the colors, it's the same idea. For the diamond, it makes a trail. Let's see what that trail looks like. And you can see that each of the particles has particles that follow it. Now, be especially careful about this one in terms of the lag in your world. This is a lot of particle entities all at the same time, all from one firework. So you might inadvertently or intentionally create a bit of a lag machine here. And then you can also put both of these together. Unlike the other ones, you can only pick one shape, but you can choose 2 effects. So you can see that we can both have our crackling, sparkling, and our trail. And that does work for the different colors. And to create this, again, it is very straightforward. We're going to grab the dust, we're going to grab our gunpowder and our powder, and let's also grab some color, and we'll make this one brown. And then we can take a shape if we want to add a shape to it. And again, let's actually go with the feather this time. So it's not really an again. So we put our gunpowder in, we put our glowstone dust, we put our color, and we put our feather. And you can see that the firework star will tell you what it is. This is a burst because of the feather. It's brown because of the color, obviously. And it's going to twinkle because we're using the glowstone dust. And then we're going to put this in with our paper and gunpowder to make our firework rocket. And to that we can send them up. And there you go. Now, you can also have, and this is the part that most people forget about, a fade effect. Now, to see what the fade looks like, what we're going to do here is we're just going to take a large ball, that would be from the fire charge, and have it fade from red to blue. So let's see what this looks like. You can see it starts red, and right before it dies, that red changes to a blue. fading to blue. It's pretty straightforward. Now this one's a slightly bit more complicated to make, but not really all that complicated. So let's take some white dye this time, and let's grab our gunpowder and our paper. We're going to have, let's go with the gold nugget this time. And then we're actually going to put both effects on this. So the first thing that you need to do, and let's get our fade to black is a little boring. Let's get a fade to a yellow. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make your original star. And as I said, we're going to put our gold nugget in there. We're going to have both effects in there as well. So we're creating a firework star. Now this is star shaped. That is white with both a trail and a twinkle. We're going to grab that. We're going to put that back into our crafting table and have it fade to a yellow. So you can see now that this is a star-shaped white that will fade to yellow with both a trail and a twinkle. Grab that. And now put this back one more time for our gunpowder and our paper to turn that into a rocket. And you can see what this looks like when it all comes together. And you can see that it twinkled and it had a trail and it was that nice star shape. And then that white turns into a yellow, which in retrospect is kind of hard to see, but hopefully you can see that. And as I said, there are literally over 2 trillion combinations you can make using all of these things. Now the last little bit is how you want to shoot it, and you can use all of this fancy redstone. You can also use a crossbow, and in fact, if you use a crossbow with multi-shot, then it will create 3 of them, and it will only charge, in terms of how much it uses, just the 1. So if we put this in our offhand, and we take our multi-shot crossbow, you can see that we get 3 of them. Now it's not going to use anything up because I'm in creative mode, but if you were in survival, this would only take up 1. So you are getting triple bang for your buck, or you just use your regular one and you get just the 1. Now in terms of the redstone you want to set up, there's really a tremendous number of ways to do this. You can have it go in a straight line like this with all of your different effects. You can have it spread out a bit. You can have a system like this with your 2 observers going back and forth, although I don't really recommend it because this turns out kind of muddled. You see how fast they're going off, even though there's all the different kinds in there. It just kind of looks like one giant pile of mush, and you might have seen some frame issues that I had there. I like this sort of a system a lot better. It's a comparator clock, so just put this on subtract mode. Otherwise, it's pretty simple. And this is on a full 4 ticks delay, and that's because you want some space in between. And in fact, why don't we go into some nighttime here and set our time to midnight and turn this guy on. And you can see that it's a lot better of effect because you have that time in between in order to actually see all of the different kinds of fireworks. So you can spread these out more, you can have them go further, you can delay them even more. It's whatever you want, and from the ground. And there's a lot of the red, white, and blue variety here. As I said, it's a little bit of a patriotic theme, and that's it. It's pretty straightforward. We'll put our time back to just day. There we go. And you can use that to celebrate the new year with no risk of blowing off any of your fingers. Now, as I said, a little bit of a pep, if you will. I know 2020 has been a very tough year for a lot of people, but keep in mind that a year is what you make about it. Your circumstances may be forced upon you, but it's your choice in terms of what you want to do with it. And don't assume just because the new year is happening, everything's going to turn around. You kind of have to do that yourself, taking a look on the bright side of things and just trying to make the best of it is. And as I said, do not end the year 2020 by blowing off a finger. At least not until you've used that finger to hit the subscribe button, which is just an absolute must. I hope you have made the best of this year, and I hope that next year will be even better. One of my grandfather's favorite sayings is, "May the best of your past be the worst of your future." And I hope you take that to heart. Now, if you like this video, I would appreciate that thumbs up. If you found it interesting, maybe even share it with one of your friends or your favorite Minecraft YouTuber so they can celebrate the new year or whatever celebration they may have in style. And for more videos just like this, do be sure to subscribe. Thanks for stopping by.